Hi guys, I'm going to start reading our chapter book, and I know that we read 2 chapters already. I'm going to read the first chapter so that you have it online, and then I'll stop and we'll do the second chapter, and then I'll also then do the third chapter and upload those for you on our Google Classroom. So our chapter book is My Father's Dragon, and it's by Ruth Gannett. Chapter 1, this is the table of contents. And chapter 1 is My Father Meets the Cat. One cold, rainy day when my father was a little boy, he met an old alley cat on the street. The cat was very drippy and uncomfortable. So my father said, "Would you like to come home with me?" This surprised the cat. I'll try to give you a little bit of picture. There's not much, but this surprised the cat. She had never before met someone who cared about an old alley cat. And we talked about that an old alley cat is a cat without a home. And it's kind of a stray cat that lives in the alleys in cities, usually big cities. So she was an old alley cat, and she'd never before met anyone. And so she said, "I'd be very much obliged, or I'd be very thankful if I could sit by a warm furnace and perhaps have a saucer of milk." Now, a furnace is a heater. Before we had heaters that went throughout your house, a furnace was just like an area where the warmth would come through. "We have a very nice furnace to sit by," said my father, "and I'm sure my mother has an extra saucer of milk." My father and the cat became good friends, but my father's mother, so now this is the person talking is a boy, and he's talking about his father when he was a boy. And so his father's mother then would be, yes, his grandma. So he said, I'm sure my mother has an extra saucer of milk. So my father and the cat became good friends, but my father's mother was very upset about the cat. She hated cats, particularly old alley cats. And she said to him, "Elmer Elevator," she said to my father, "if you think I'm going to give that cat a saucer of milk, you're very wrong. Once you start feeding stray cats, you might as well expect to feed every stray cat in the town, and I am not going to do it." So he kind of got a scolding for bringing that cat home. This made my father really sad, and he apologized to the cat because his mother had been very rude. He told the cat to stay away and that somehow he would bring her a saucer of milk each day. My father fed the cat for 3 weeks, but one day his mother found the cat's saucer in the cellar, which is kind of like the basement of homes. He found it in the cellar, and she was extremely angry. She spanked my father and threw the cat out the door. But later on, my father sneaked out and found the cat. Together, they went for a walk in the park and tried to think of nice things to talk about. My father said, "When I grow up, I'm going to have an airplane. Wouldn't it be wonderful to fly just anywhere you might think of?" "Would you like to fly? Would you like to fly that much?" asked the cat. "I certainly would. I'd do anything if I could fly," said Elmer. "Well," said the cat, "if you'd really like to fly that much, I think I know sort of a way that you can get your wish." So they're walking in the park talking. You can even get your wish as a little boy, like right now even. You mean you know where I can get an airplane? Said my father. Well, not exactly an airplane, but something even better. As you can see, I'm an old alley cat now, but in my younger days, I was quite the traveler. My traveling days are over, but last spring I took one more trip and sailed to an island, the island of Tangerina. And we stopped at a port, the boat did, the ship. It stopped at a port called Cranberry. Well, it just so happened that I missed the boat. And while I was waiting for the next one, I thought I'd look around the island. I was particularly interested in the island next to the island of Tangerina called Wild Island, which we had passed on our way to Tangerina. Wild Island and Tangerina are joined by a long string of rocks. But people never go to Wild Island because it's mostly jungle and inhabited by wild animals. So I decided to go across the rocks and explore it for myself. It certainly is an interesting place, but I saw something there that made me want to weep. Now, we talked about what weep means, and I think it was Jane who said weep means that he saw something that made him want to cry. And I also wanted to show you the island. So this is the island of Tangerina, and they came in, the boat is right here. This is where they're coming into the port. The port is the stop called Cranberry. And there's the rocks that go across. The rocks go across to Wild Island. All right? And Wild Island has this big river going through it. And you can see there's alligators in the river. All right, let me go back to reading though. So that was the first chapter. So that was chapter 1. And I'm going to stop, and then you can go find chapter 2. I'll record chapter 2 separately.